I'm absolutely heartbroken. Someone's jumped over in the night and put salt all over the land. That means everything I've planted won't grow, and I can't replant on it because it won't grow. So all the hours and hours and hours of work that we've put in is now dead. And they've done it everywhere. How could you do that? Literally. I hope it makes you happy. I really do. Top person. But you know what? You won't stop me, because I'll just pick it all up and I'll carry on. Okay, I can't plant in this section, but I'll carry on. You won't stop me whatsoever.
Living in America is exhausting. You wake up tired. You go to work tired. You come home, barely surviving. Go to sleep. Wake up, go to work, come home, and you're still fucking broke. Every single month, rent's due. Rent is through the roof. Groceries are double what they used to be just 2 years ago. You go to the gas pump to fill up your car and it's like you paid another car note. Everything, and I mean everything, is up in price. But your paycheck, still the same. And once inflation gets done with it, it's probably even a little less. Yet somehow, they keep telling us, just budget a little bit more. Just work a little bit harder. Like, I'm sorry, how many jobs do I need now? 4? 5? 7? That's not living. That's barely surviving.
We don't live above our means. I don't know what less than paycheck to paycheck is. What is that? Poverty. As a registered nurse, with a husband, with a second income. He doesn't make as much as I do, but he still works.
Okay, so if she's sitting there crying with a husband with a second income in her household, what do y'all think the rest of us are doing? I mean, it's so crazy how she's crying, and I'm just laughing to keep from crying, because baby, life is lifing. 2020 has been something else, but you know what? The reason why I'm not crying is because I have been afforded so many opportunities, and I have a chance to keep going, so I sympathize with her. But baby, these 9-to-5s is not cutting it. They're not cutting it for everybody. So even though I feel her pain, you just gonna have to go out and get a second stream of income, baby. That's really it. Your hustle's gonna have to be hustling, because that's really where we at with it. There's really nothing else we can do.
So I'm not really sure how I made it over to the white men crying on video about their finances side of TikTok. But I was over there for a little bit. And at first I was like laughing, because it's like FAFO, right? Because like y'all voted for this and now it's affecting you. But then I started to think, like, these are normally the people that and so to see them online in this much disarray, where they're on video crying in full tears about their finances and how mad they are. Y'all be safe out here.
In today's economy, do you think a couple that brings home $100,000 is enough to support a small family of like 3 to 4 people? I asked this because I made a post yesterday about how Americans are really struggling, and it was really sad and eye-opening to me to see the amount of people who said, I make 6 figures now, yet we're still struggling. And I don't mean is it enough to buy like luxuries. I just mean is $100,000 enough to live comfortably without having to live paycheck to paycheck. I remember like 12 years ago, my mom told me about this couple I knew who were making like a combined salary of $110,000. And at that point in my life, 20s, I'm thinking, what a dream, what a goal it was for me to be able to say one day that my husband and I were making like $110,000. And now here I am in 2023, and I'm like, it's not the dream life anymore. Like if someone would have told me my husband and I would be making what we're making and still having to cut back on necessities, I would have been like, you have to be kidding me. Like we didn't even go on a vacation this year because the last thing I'm going to do is put a vacation on a credit card, but we didn't have extra money to bring our kids on a vacation, and we both have good jobs. So if you think $100,000 is enough, I'm curious, what's your location? Do you not have children? Like why do you think it's enough? Because I'm telling you from yesterday's post on here, the comments say different, and the comments say that a majority of Americans are really, really struggling, and I mean hardworking Americans. So
hi guys, I hope you're doing fine. In today's clip, I just want you to watch this clip of whereby there is a lot of white Americans who are furious, who are confused that they are really going through a lot, and black people or black Americans have just decided to remain silent. Black people ain't showing any signs of being hurt, or they ain't showing any sign of maybe struggling. They're just there crying out for help of how the cost of living has still risen. So kindly guys, watch this clip till the end, and then I'll be back with more comments.
So it's make Argentina great again. It's make Israel better. It's anything but America first. And now he's going to take away food stamps the whole month of November. And let me tell you what, 1 out of every 5 people that are on food stamps are veterans. They have fought for this country, and President Trump is punishing poor people for the No Kings rally. That's what he's doing. See, President Trump doesn't want to be president anymore. He wants to be the king. He's already established everything that he has to do. And look, you've seen what them young Republicans were writing, and you've seen that guy come out and say, well, this is just what all Republicans do and say behind the scenes. It's no big deal. This is how we all feel. They're all racist, male chauvinist, pedophiles, and now they want us to accept that. Look, President Trump's ratings are dropping like the rent on a burning building. He doesn't care that you don't agree with what he's doing. He's just going to start punishing the poorest of us all. And that's making America great.
Last day in this house here. We are moving out today, January 31st. Finally, I can reveal my address. I don't care if anybody creepy people find it. Fitted RV in there, 2-car garage, 3 bedrooms, new year, new house coming in Europe. So I was paying $2,700 for this, and the next video I'm gonna show a comparison to what I'm getting in Europe for $1,500. It's been a pleasure. Goodbye, Idaho.
I don't understand how I make $34 an hour.
This video is absolutely gut-wrenching. Go watch her whole video, and she is being so raw in her emotions on her frustrations about the fact that she makes $34 an hour, which isn't a bad wage, and simply can't make ends meet. She talks about the fact that she has to buy a loaf of bread and eat toast with peanut butter and make 1 loaf of bread last her a whole week. I feel like so many Canadians are struggling beyond words right now, and it's just absolutely gut-wrenching. So she talks about the fact that she owns a home and her mortgage is coming up for renewal, and she's terrified, right? Because interest rates have skyrocketed, and she has no idea how she's going to be able to afford the increase in her mortgage payments. So there are a few things that you could do in this situation. Now, I don't know her situation specifically, but if you own a home and you have some equity in your home, there are potential solutions. you can look at doing a refinance, which means using the equity in your home. When you do a refinance, you can take the equity out of your home to pay off other debts. Now, there are a lot of debts out there, say vehicle loans that are at higher interest rates, lines of credit, credit card debt that is at higher interest rates than what our mortgages would be. So overall, you do pay less in interest. And at the same time, you can improve your cash flow. She could also look at extending out her amortization. So for example, if you had 12 years left on your mortgage, you can look at extending it to 25 or 30 years, which will counteract that increase in interest rates and make your monthly payment more manageable. Now, I know that a lot of people are going to say, I don't want my mortgage to be another 25 or 30 years, and I fully understand that. But when it comes to only being able to eat peanut butter for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with toast, how is that for your health? You know, you do have to consider so many things outside of what might make the best sense. So by extending your amortization out, you can still pay additional money down. So if you were to get to a place where your monthly debt obligations are now manageable, you're probably going to be able to sleep better at night. If you can eat healthy, nutritious food, I mean, that's just going to help your mood and help you get on with every day. So when you do get on top or back on top of things, you can look to pay additional money down on your mortgage every month to get your amortization back down to a point that you're satisfied with. But it will get you through those tough times if need be. The bottom line is there are always options. Instead of feeling so defeated and overwhelmed, you can reach out, contact people, find out what options you have. Sometimes in life, it takes a step back in order to be able to take some steps forward. And that's life. It's not all roses and unicorns, unfortunately. But knowledge is power. And just knowing what your options are, talking to people, you never know what might help you. So if you do own a home and you're feeling the way that this woman is feeling, reach out to a mortgage broker. It doesn't cost you a thing. And they can let you know if there are any options for you. I mean, at least you're trying to do something about it.
So I just saw a post where a young white woman is upset and crying because she's understanding how easy they have it in China. And she doesn't understand why, as Americans, we have to work so hard just to have so little.
Racism would be the answer. So this all goes back to what they call drained pool politics. Once integration became the law of the land with cases like Brown v. Board, a lot of white people moved to get rid of public services and goods like swimming pools. And that meant they had fewer resources. They had fewer third places. And it was fine back in the day because they would just pay. They would pay to go to country clubs, which is why there's a proliferation of country clubs in this country right now. But they put all those kinds of things that used to be public services behind a paywall because then they could just say, well, you can't pay, or this is a private club. It doesn't matter if you can pay. We're not going to allow you in. It's our choice. It's not a public service. It's not a government run thing. Just so Black people wouldn't have access. But over time, the cost of these services rose higher and higher until most white people cannot afford them. But it's not just that. I mean, this idea goes all the way back to things like Social Security. Do you know white people refused to vote it through back during the New Deal until two groups of people were not eligible? Domestic labor, so that would be like maids, and agriculture workers who didn't own the land. So in other words, if you were a sharecropper, like most Black people in the South, or a maid, like the women, you couldn't get Social Security. Once they put those provisions in, all of a sudden, they could have it all day long. White people in this country have always been obsessed with the idea of Black people not having things. And that's why they're in the mess that they're in. It's kind of nice to be able to say what I want on here. The reason why countries, the Scandinavian ones, Denmark and Sweden and whatnot, have such great policies is in part because those countries are homogenous, or mostly so. And they're not trying to investigate who's benefiting from the free child care and the universal health care and all that. They are moving on. We could have a great standard of living in this country, but white people are so obsessed, so angry at the idea other people who are not white are going to have that same great standard of living. They would rather live in squalor. It's why the Affordable Health Care Act got gutted. The utter terror that people who don't look like you are going to be able to live decently. What you pay for. I mean, politicians have tried to convince white voters for years. This is in their interest. It was in their interest to not have to pay for these goods and services. And now you fell for it. They convinced you it was communist or socialist to have a decent standard of living, to have the taxes that you pay go to something other than endless war, to actually go towards the maintenance of the nation and making our lives better. But, I hope you enjoy it. Rather than letting everybody have a turn with the ball, you've decided to pop the ball and you're complaining, there's no ball, there's no ball. Indeed, there's not. And if we got a ball tomorrow and you saw the Black people and others playing with it, you'd probably pop it again. So there's a direct correlation. It's not that Black problems are just starting to suddenly leak over and affect white people. It's that the intentional negative economic and social policies white people put in place to oppress Black people have now rebounded on them. Everything people complain about nowadays. How come there are no more third spaces? How come we don't have anywhere to go but work and school? How come we can't afford property? How come this and how come that? All of those have a direct correlation to post-integration policies and choices. Why is college so expensive? Racism. Black people started going and they raised the tuition out of all scope. It used to be practically free to go to school. How come I can't find a decent job? Racism. The minute Black people integrated those unions for the factories that had been operating in this nation for decades, and Black people could only be non-unionized workers or just unskilled labor, the minute we finally broke into the unions, that is when they began migrating out of cities like Detroit, first into the South for white cities, and then eventually overseas. You thought you were winning. And the hollowing out of Chicago and Detroit and etc. don't just affect Black people. The reverberations of that crisis have affected the entire Midwest, and look at the condition of the Rust Belt today. The hole you dig for somebody else will be the one you fall in. That's literally biblical. If people had focused on trying to get the whole standard of living for the country up, even if they had just focused on their own ends, but not tried to punish anyone else, this whole country would be in a better position today. And now look, I hope this serves as a valuable lesson to you. It probably won't. Because that's why the last election went the way it went. They're still trying to convince you somebody else is to blame for the problems that are self-engineered. And they try to convince you that by punishing someone else, the mysterious boogeyman stole your cheese. And if you beat him up, if you cut his wages, if you deport him, you'll get your cheese back. It's not true. This learning curve is getting steeper and steeper, though. I am genuinely interested to see what happens on Red Note next. I think this will be the first time a lot of Americans have unfettered, unpropagandized access to so many citizens from a nation we've been taught is bad. That inherently they're doing things wrong and that they're oppressed and we need to help them and save them. This will be the first time a lot of Americans have had that much direct contact. And the puzzle pieces are starting to click into place. You know, this might be the making of something. We will see. That's it. Like and follow for more. As long as you can. I hope it's longer than we think.
Hi guys, welcome back once again. I really hope you have watched the full combination of the clips, and all credits goes to original creator of the video. Yeah guys, in this clip I hope you have watched how these white folk, they're so much furious of how they're really complaining of how the cost of living has really risen up since when they voted for this new administration. And one thing that's really making them furious and going nuts is that black people, they haven't came out and they haven't complained of anything. Black people, they have really remained, they have just decided to remain silent. Black people ain't showing any sign of hurting. The reason why maybe black people that are doing this is because black people, one thing we really know about our black brothers is that they really want these people, but they really listen. Black people told these people not to vote for this new administration, but they really listen. They really went ahead and they crossed their ears, and this is the reason why maybe they are going through a lot. And black people, they have just decided to remain silent because they are saying that there's no any way you can maybe feel pity or you can have empathy for that person who really went ahead and voted out of hatred, for that person who really went ahead to vote to stay out of business, or for that one person who really went ahead and voted out of racism. And one thing these people, they have just or they have to learn is that they have started to learn that racism is so expensive, because these people, when they were voting to punish other people. They were voting to punish the immigrants, were voting to punish the black people or the black community. Because one thing I have come to discover is that these people really thought also maybe black people were the immigrants, because earlier on we have all seen how there are other clips circulating online, especially from Hispanics and white people. They are questioning themselves, why are black people not being deported? Why are black people still living in America? It's because black people, they were there when America was there. Black people that have lived in America for a very long period of time. Their ancestors, even the ancestors were in America before even those people who really discovered America. So black people, these white people, they are so furious and they're so mad because of how the lifestyle of black people they are really living. They ain't complaining about this new administration. And one thing I really love about my black brothers is that they have been through this for a very long period of time. Black people really know how to thrive or survive during the harsh condition, because right now they are saying that America is only for millionaires and billionaires. If you don't have money, you can't survive in America. If you don't have any cash, you will just be there crying out for help, because you have to pay your bills, you have to pay rent, you have to pay everything, because we all know America, everything is on bills. You are working to pay bills. You are just working to survive. You are not working to live. In America right now, a lot of people are really just working to survive, because right now we have all seen how rent is really affecting a lot of people. It's really making a lot of people maybe to suffer, because the other people who have really come out and said that their landlords are calling them. They just want to pay their rent, but right now they can't afford, because right now the cost of living has really risen up to an extent whereby these people even can't afford the basic needs. And a lot of people have really come out in that number and saying that for black, we are born into recession. The moment we take out our first breath after birth, we are the most resilient. Yeah, black people, they really know how to survive during harsh condition. Black people really know how to thrive during this harsh condition, because one thing these people really voted, maybe they thought that when they were voting, this new admission won't affect them. It will just affect black people, it will just affect the immigrant. And this is the reason why they really went ahead and they voted for the petition of immigrants. Right now, we have all seen how white farmers, they're really crying out for help, of how they're really losing their farms, of how there's not anyone to go and pick some food crops or food stuff in the farms, leaving the crops to rot in the farm. And this is why these people really didn't know what they were voting for, because these are the same farmers who were really going bankrupt. These are the same farmers who were losing their farms. These are the same farmers who were really crying out for help, telling the government to build them houses. They want handouts, they want the taxpayer money to build them out. But a lot of people that really came out and they're really saying that there's no way the government can bail you out, because whenever we wanted this, you really came out and tell us to pull out our socks, to pull out our bootstraps, to work very hard. So whenever you told us so, you should also do the same thing. You should not come here crying out for help of how the government should help you out. Other people really came out and said that racism is really, really expensive, because these people really voted to punish black people. We really know that they voted to punish black people because they thought this new admission won't affect them. But right now, if you go to grocery to buy some food stuff, the same price will buy it whether you are a white person, whether you are a black person, whether you are Latino, whether you are migrant. It's the same price all people will buy. There's no anywhere they have written that that price is only for white people, that price is only for black people, that price is only for immigrants or for Latino. You are buying it for the same price. And this is the reason why maybe these people, they have started to regret, they have started to waken up, and they have started to regret, and putting in mind that they have started to realize that black people were telling them the truth. Black people were always right. So guys, this video is just for educational purpose. We really hope things will be better in America. America could be better once again, because this is the first world country, and we really expect it to be good, to show example to other countries. So guys, if it was the first time I come across my video, don't forget to like this video, subscribe and share. Thank you so much for your time. May God bless you whenever you are. One love.